Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's do a level 120 review of Muraga, and then he is the reward character for beating the Earth selection quests. I made a video before, probably nobody needs it now, explaining how selection quests work. That's in a playlist, you can check that out. But it's been a while since I've done a level 120 review. The last was actually Black Rose Helena, if you can believe it. But this period of the game, I was not getting a lot of new characters. I was skipping all of the cost 90 units because they didn't really appeal to me, and I was really focusing on slow building Megamont and Black Rose Helena. But I guess Muraga was the biggest news for me during this time, so I'm happy to do a review for him here. There won't be any field tests in this video, but I'll put some links below for other videos that show him in action, both as a tank and more as an attacker. It's probably more accurate to call him a bruiser rather than a full-out attacker, because even fully built for attack, I think his damage and range are not quite there to make him a team-leading attacker, but we'll talk about that later. And the reason why I love Muraga as a character in the story is that he's so old school. He's so obviously a bad guy. Like he would fit in the world of Fist of the North Star. He's gigantic, he's loud, he's violent, and he's obvious in ways that Sadari and maybe Gilgamesh aren't as bad guys. And I hear folks complain about the story that they don't like the bad guys like Zazan, but you're not supposed to like the bad guys. If you had a story where it were written so that you would like every single character, you would have something like Uma Musume. This is a story about bloody war between kingdoms. Not everyone is going to be someone that you can root for. These characters are necessary. As for his unit gameplay, he's a lot of fun there too. I said earlier that he can be a tank or a bruiser, and I'm being very biased here, but he might be the best unit in the game in terms of doing both equally well and at a high level, but not at the same time. It depends on his build. And I haven't tested him against all of the other kind of tanky guys out there, but compared to Dwayne, he has better hate generation. Compared to Engelbert, he has better movement. Compared to Megamont, he does more damage. And compared to Agrius, he has better break resistance. And then usually, vision cards, I don't talk about them in my unit reviews, but I wanted to point out the two Earth cards that we got recently. This one I call kind of the defense card. What did this give you? HP up, area of effect, resistance up, slash resistance up, more HP up. So if you wanted to use Muraga as a tank, you can kind of just give him this card and then he's done. I talked about my idea of kind of like all-in-one units, or like thinking about these cards as like the only card that the character needs to function. And then the other one is the Earth Attack card. This will give you Earth Attack up, Accuracy up, and then slash Resistance Penetration up, and then a personal ability slash Attack up, and a nice attack value. So yeah, depending on which direction you wanted to take Muraga, you can give him one of these two cards and have a very nice package there. Alright, but let's go back to Muraga. Let's talk about his jobs. Main job is the Fennes Barbarian King, which is basically a souped-up Viking. Folks dismiss some of the selection quest units because they don't have unique jobs, but I don't think it's that big a deal. All of them have unique combinations of jobs and elements, and that's enough to make them worth building and using, I think. Yes, of course, the newer jobs are better than the old jobs, but that doesn't mean the units with old jobs are useless. Power creep is not that fast in this game. Like now in Global, if you're using Helena and Dwayne together, and you have an EX Stern, throw him in there. You might be surprised at how good he is. Alright, and then sub-jobs are Paladin and Ninja. Very interesting combo of jobs. He is a terrific counter to Cloud. He can definitely go one-on-one versus him, but you have to build him the right way. Cloud has lots of innate defense penetration, so building Muraga for slash resistance is better. Then we can look at his resistances here, but he's got 10. Cloud also has a slash resist break attack, but it's not nearly as high as the advantage that he gets from defense penetration, so it's not that bad. Stuff like Platinum Helmet or Golden Armor will work, so will a ton of Espers and Vision cards. If I'm using Muraga for going after Cloud, I build him up to about 65 slash resistance, and that's fine for him. Okay, next let's look at the skills. We'll look at main job, Barbarian King. Here is a very short range attack. This will penetrate slash resistance, so he does have a way to get around maybe one of his biggest weaknesses, but you can also combine that with the vision card that I showed earlier. But after he raises that, he will do great damage, and then has a chance of inflicting slow. This can make him a tank killer. He'll have to get close, but he's going to want to get close anyway, so very nice attack here. Okay, here is a spinning attack. This will do medium damage. And then for 3 turns, we'll break magic. That's very interesting. And then also cancel anything that they are casting at the time. So it's like a jamming thrust. As we saw before, Muraga is weak to magic, minus 10%. So it's risky to take him against magic users, but if you can get in there and hit guys, it'll be lights out for them. So yeah, pair him with some magic tanks. Use him as an attacker rather than like a physical-based tank. Okay, here, this is his kind of version of launch, but medium range, has a Man-Eater, and then will do medium damage. He uses this a lot. Oh, and it gives him the Man-Eater for 3 turns. So it's kind of a buff and attack in one, and then he can do more attacks later. Okay, this is like his knee breaker. But this will go out in a straight line, do small damage, but will break barriers, so that's another type of defense that he can get through. Okay, and then here, this is for 3 turns, a self-buff, will raise his defense penetration, and then his own defense and spirit, and then lower his healing efficacy. So for this, that means he won't work as well with a healer. And then he has a drain attack, which will not heal as much if he uses this. But being able to get through defense, plain old defense as well, means he can get through defense, slash resistance, and barriers. So he has all of these skills on his main job, means that he can cut through lots of defenses. He'll be very good against other tanks. And then the defense and spirit buff, why not? Alright, and then here, I think this is his job level 25 skill. Again, straight line, medium damage. Pierces, so that means it'll hit everybody along the way, and then has a chance of stun for 1 turn. This is pretty good, but I don't know if it's super necessary to take him to job level 25 just to get this skill. But let's look at the board here. So yeah, attack up as the stat node, and then dexterity up. He likes dexterity, being an axe user. That will raise his attack value a little bit, and then also accuracy. But I've said this many times, the Earth selection quests are very difficult, so maybe if you want to use him, try him out at 115, see if it is worth it to you to take him farther. Okay, let's look at his Fennes Barbarian King Sub Job. Only 2 skills here, but this is a TP self-buff. We'll take away a bit of his HP, and then for 3 turns we'll raise his break resistance, and then also has a chance to cast Berserk on himself. If you max this skill, it will give him 100% resistance to breaks. And then what that means is that it does not take down the amount of break by 100%. It means that the break has 0% chance of hitting. And so Augureus, I think she has a 50% break resistance. That means that if you hit her with a break, it's 50-50 whether the break will take effect or not. And if it does take effect, it will get all of its effect in there. So yeah, you can block all kinds of stuff with this. Defense breaks, spirit breaks, slash resistance breaks, elemental breaks. So this makes him very, very tough in ways that kind of no other character is. But there is the chance of Berserk, so if you wanted to use the skill, maybe lower his faith down to 30. That does mean that he will get a lower chance of success with the bells or the apron. But as I'll tell you later, he might not need either of those things because he has lots of AP to work with anyway. Okay, and then there's another AP skill. This is a kind of a short-range AoE attack. Small damage but will drain. So this can give him some HP back if you need it. To be honest, I have tried him with this sub-job and I love the idea of this skill resisting all breaks. But I felt like it wasn't as good for him, either as an attacker or a tank, than the other two sub-jobs. So maybe, you know, experiment with this, but I end up using it the least, I would say. Okay, next we got the Paladin Sub Job. This is good for him if you want to use him as a tank, because he has hate generation here in Attract Blade. This will also be, I think, his longest range attack, and then also has a little bit of AoE, big damage, so this could be a good damage source for him. And then he will have so much AP to work with that he can actually cast this turn 2. So yeah, he's one of the best Attract Blade users out there. But we got the usual suspects. Sentinel, raise his defense and spirit for 1 turn. Divine Grace, this will raise his max HP. If you're using him as a tank, it could be worth leveling this, although he has other TP skills that are maybe better. But you get that extra HP, and then the damage that you take will be taken from that extra HP, and then when your extra HP wears off after 3 turns, like it says here, then the damage that you took from that extra HP won't count against your actual HP when it goes back down. It's complicated, but it does have its uses. And then we got Immortal Spirit for the one-time guts. This has saved his bacon many times. If you watch my arena videos, you'll see that there. And then Saint Heal, never use, and then Blade Bash, short-range attack which has a chance to stun. Medium damage. This is okay. He doesn't use it a lot though. I said that this was the best job for him for a tank build, but actually it's pretty good for an attacker build. You could even turn off Attract Blade, and then you would give him the Sentinel, the Guts, so you can make him more bruisery like that. So yeah, this is a good sub-job for him. Okay, last is Ninja. I like this one a lot too. We got Poison Cloud, that's good for movement. We got Doton. This is the non-type attack that does earth damage. So this can get through everything except for earth resistance and defense. So if they got very high slash resistance or very high strike resistance, this will just go straight through that. So also against tanks, this can be a good option. Oh, and then earlier also, there was that vision card which raised earth attack. That's perfect for Doton. Okay, we got the self buff to raise accuracy and then critical hit rate. We got the 3-hit attack, nice for raids. We have Shuriken. I usually turn this off. I would rather that he uses Doton. And then Hide. Alright, and then let's look at support abilities. He has a few nice ones. HP and defense up, that's great for him. Shukuchi, move and jump +1, this is excellent for him. He's not the fastest guy, but with good mobility, he can kind of make up for it. And then we also have this one here, raise agility and luck. And then this is his barbarian support ability, max HP up and then evade down. Okay, I said he had a lot of good ones, but actually the 2 that I have equipped are probably the ones you're going to be using all the time. Reaction ability, here's from his Barbarian King. When he takes damage for 3 turns, his attack will go up. I like that one. He also has the Poison reaction ability, and that could be also good against tanks. And then a Paladin Guard, if you want to use him as a tank, take physical damage better. Okay, no limit break, which I don't really care about. And then Master ability, he gives the typical Earth buff to other guys, and then for himself raises attack 20. That's pretty good. And attack 20 here as well as a stat node here, so lots of damage from him. And then upgraded abilities, let's see. This is the self buff. That will give him defense penetration, will also raise defense, increase number of uses. And then this one here, one of his attacks, the amount of AP will be lowered, so that is nice. Okay, so that is a look at his skills. I've also said this a lot of times before, but tanks are super easy to slot into different parties, 3-member parties. Especially if you have kind of their specialized card, where it's kind of all in one. And so you can have like your 2-member setup, which is used for attackers, and then you can use the tank in order to enable them to go against different guys. Muraga, he can definitely fit that kind of enabling tank slot. Also, because he is a bruiser and because he's kind of self-sufficient, he can take hits, but he can also deal damage. In maps where like there's one character sort of separated from the rest, he works really well in that way. Okay, next we got his Trustmaster. I use this on him about 100% of the time. I like it a lot. The other options are the Golden Axe and then Durando's Trustmaster. The Golden Axe will do more damage if you get the +5, but I think the damage you get from this one is more than enough. But 200 attack, has a little bit of a critical, and then pretty importantly, the passive bonus will give you 25 AP to start. That also helps him get like big attacks or a track blade out quickly. And yeah, because he does have the AP, including from this Trustmaster, he needs the bells and the apron less. Okay, next thinking about team building with him. Again, Muraga does not do great against magic users, as in taking damage, but dealing damage he can do great. So maybe pairing him with magic tanks could be a good idea. MR Mont is an interesting choice, and then when I did put them together in Arena, I put the tank Earth card on Mont, and then the attack Earth card on Muraga, turned off the hate generation on Muraga. That worked to a point. But MR Mont, as good as he is, he does have his limits, so I put that team away after a while. And then for Espers, Golem is pretty much perfect for him. It gives him a lot of stuff that he wants for an attacker. Man-Eater, slash attack up, defense up, earth attack up. But Odin is pretty good too. A lot of that same stuff, but slash resistance if you needed it. Okay, that was the level 120 review of Muraga. Good luck with the quests. I have videos for 9 and 10 up in a playlist as well. Alright, thanks for watching and we'll see you again. Take care.